Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1128. I'm shaven. What the hell do I have on my face over here? Good morning. What's up? Happy Thursday. Welcome to a little ethics talk this morning. I've actually been organizing a lot lately. Cooter's happy with that. Seeing a little organization in my card room. I decided I've been holding off on listing this week because I don't want to. I'm trying to. March is one of those months where I still want to obviously, I still want to make sales on a daily basis, but I don't want to be overloaded. I leave for spring training on Tuesday. I don't want to have 300 items to ship and just be, buried, rushing to get shipments out ahead of spring training. I need to give myself some time to, get prepared for the trip. I have a card show on Saturday. I'm trying to get all of my spaces organized. I have some visitors coming on Monday with cameras. So I need to have my spaces looking decent. So that's kind of why I've been doing a lot more organizing this week. Normally I wouldn't, if I didn't have the visitors coming on Monday, I would be like, screw that stuff. It's shipping and listing and shipping. But so it's actually good because it needs to be done anyway. This motivates me to get it done. So that's what I've been doing this week. So I've been keeping pretty much on top of my shipping. Haven't listed, I don't think, anything. I listed some Volpe a couple days ago. I didn't start listing, but I scanned some Bowman U basketball, Caitlin Clark. There's some other stuff, just basically the blaster that I opened several weeks ago. So maybe I'll throw those online into my eBay store today. I do want to focus on getting some dollar boxes ready. I think this Saturday's card show, let me create a banner for this. I haven't created a banner for this Saturday's card show. Let's edit this one. Shop my bargain boxes this Saturday at the Kane County Fairgrounds in St. Charles, Illinois. I'll have, let's see, I'm going to be bringing about 25,000 new baseball cards. All right, so I think that's good. Let's flash that on the screen. I think it's going to be a really big show, really, really big show this Saturday. Kane County Fairgrounds, St. Charles, Illinois. I'll have about 25,000 new baseball cards. A lot of the Bowman that I picked up, they're going to be, you're not going to find Anthony Volpe, Adley Rushman, Spencer Jones in my quarter boxes, but you might find a prospect you're looking for. So it's going to be packed. It's going to be packed with dealers. It's going to be packed with customers. It's going to be a wild, wacky, crazy, busy show on Saturday, St. Charles, Illinois, Kane County Fairgrounds. Come see me, shop my bargain boxes. I might put together a new football box. I got about half. I was actually watching Chasing Cardboard yesterday and was putting together a football box. And I really need to put a dollar box, some new dollar cards. And I've got so many refractors and first Bowman chromes that I could fill a lot of dollar boxes. So we'll see. First up, I want to get shipping done. I'm still putting together cards to get autographed. Next week it's spring training. So I'm on putting the cards in my autograph books. I think I'm I'm starting S's. I had to start a new book. So I'll have S's. So there you go. So see me, St. Charles this weekend, Kane County Fairgrounds. Next Madison Card Show is coming up March 30th. We're basically sold out at 175 dealer tables. I am putting, before I leave, that's something else that I want to get on top of, so I know exactly where I'm at when I return. I'll still have 10 days to prepare when I get back, but once the ad hits, I'm already getting a lot of like, hey, I want tables, da 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 da. I don't have tables. So we're just about, if not sold out, we're close to sold out for Saturday, March 30th. I'm taking reservations for the April show. I've got some bookings. I took a booking for June already, and that with payment. It's normally I don't like to book 2 months out. Normally I would only book 1 month out back when it was 100 tables. And then it just kept growing and growing. And it's like, well, I can't get you in. Well, can I come next month? Okay. And so I started booking 2 months out. I've had multiple people ask for June. For whatever reason, people want to come to the June show, June 22nd, Madison Card Show. So I took a booking with payment already yesterday for June. I have another person requesting it who a few days ago I said, I'm not going to book that far out, but well, if you send payment, I'll put it down. So I've got spreadsheets created for April, May, June. So we're booking out. If you want tables in the future, let me know. We'll get you loaded. I do want prepayment though, because otherwise I don't want the day before or the morning of, oh, I forgot I booked this 4 months ago. Because why? I forget these things. And it's like, oh, and I don't use my wife hammers it into my brain almost every day. Use the calendar. And I never use the calendar. So there you go. And I figured out my password login for MadisonCardShow.com. Thank you, Zach, for motivating me to do that, because Zach wanted to know my date for April. And he's like, I couldn't find it online. And I actually just returned the contracts this week. So I hadn't put it on. In fact, I couldn't figure out Becket. Like the Becket Card Show calendar is like the worst of the worst. Like I ran into this problem. I ran into this problem a few months ago for the January, February. Somebody on Facebook, hey, it wasn't on the Becket calendar. It's like, it should have been. And for whatever reason, it didn't take. And this is probably the same thing that's happened to me yesterday. And I try to do it and I just go on to do other things. I went into, let me try to find, I'm going to open up a new tab. First off, you have to access the Becket Card Show calendar by Google searching, because the Becket.com website, it's impossible to find. I think it's literally impossible to find. So let's just take a look at Wisconsin and see Madison. Nope, it still has just up to March 30th. I go to my shows. Okay, I'm going to log in. Make sure it logs me in correctly. All right, so we'll just do this live here on the show, and I'm going to show you what Beckett's doing. Share the screen. Becket. All right, so here we are. Maybe Uncle Rich is watching and he can teach me his ways. All right, so here's my shows. Madison, March 30th. I upped it to 180 tables because 175 wasn't an option. So we're going to go into edit. All right, so here's all my information. So here's the shows over on the right side, the calendar. So we're going to type in April 20th. And it's supposed to populate down here. It didn't populate. So it's yellowed, like it's yellowed, but nothing is happening. Is there an extra step that I should do? I don't think so. So let's just submit. This is what happened yesterday, and nothing happens. So I don't know what's going on with Becket. I can't figure out how to put my card show on on the Becket calendar. But it's on Sports Card Daily or Sports Card Digest, Sports Collectors Digest, one of those. Jeff Owens, wherever Jeff Owens works, I submitted it to Jeff Owens. And it's now on the website, MadisonCardShow.com. I figured out my login. Thank you, Zach, for motivating me to get all of this done yesterday. And it's now updated on MadisonCardShow.com. I think I update the MadisonCardShow.com site about once every 2 years or once every year and a half. So we're caught up for now, right? Caught up for now. So Madison Card Show is coming up Saturday, March 30th. I did see a question. I think Max asked a question here. Do new dealers not get a chance to rebook now? Typically, well, yes and no. New dealers can absolutely rebook, but they just have to tell me. There's Max, you're automatic. Craig is automatic. Jesse's automatic. Mark, Big Mark's automatic. John and the Rockford guys automatic. The Lambrick's automatic. Aaron, Troy, Jim, Sheena. Who else? Jim, Ben, Ferry Brothers, 5-Star, Jim Lyon. Like all of those are like every single month. Maybe they'll miss a month here and there, but they're like every month. John Gruber. I don't want to leave. See, that's why I don't like naming people, because then I'm going to leave somebody out. Somebody's going to say, hey, I was listening and you didn't name me. And I've been coming to your show every month for 3 years. So they're like automatic. You've got your spot. You're in every single month. But semi-regular dealers that don't set up every single month, maybe they set up every other month, like you're in danger of losing your, like you don't really have if you're semi-regular, you don't really have a spot. And even like I'll have somebody set up as a first timer, and then they expect to have it like the day before the show. They're like, hey, you got me down, right? I'm like, no, we didn't even talk about you coming back. Like you've done one show. So new dealers absolutely can rebook. But they have to tell me. Like, I'm not going to assume like we are, unless you're there every single month for 3 years, I'm just going to assume you're not coming back unless you tell me. So, I do try to follow up, but at this point I have too many dealers to worry about. And it's like, you have to come to me because I've got enough dealers to fill. Good problem to have. So that's kind of where we're at. So, do new dealers get a chance to rebook now? Yes, but they just have to tell me. I'm not going to assume they want to come back. Although I should, right? I should, but I'm not, because that gets you in trouble. That's what if you assume like, well, you did it last month, I assumed you were doing it this month. And then you have 12 empty tables because you assumed. What's assuming do? So we're going to talk about ethics today. Why are we talking about ethics of all things? Because of hockey cards. What? I may actually, if I have to do a Walmart or Target run today or tomorrow, and I'm not going to look for hockey cards, but I'm going to look at the card section. And if there happens to be Upper Deck Series 2 on the shelf, I'm going to buy hockey cards. I'm not going to go from Walmart to Walmart, Target to Target looking for Upper Deck hockey cards. But if I go and they're there, I will buy. FOMO. I'm getting caught up in Connor Bedard. I've only opened hockey cards one time in my entire life. And that was chasing Alexis Lafreniere. Remember that, Chase? But to my defense, it was like the only product that had been released in like several months, because that was like COVID and hockey was the only thing. And we were just jonesing we were like, Dave Chappelle, you got more of that Upper Deck hockey. So only time I think I bought 2 tins back in what that would have been probably 2020. So if I find an Upper Deck Series 2 hockey, I'll probably buy some out and about. But I have to get my fun size deodorant and my fun size toothpaste and my fun size uh, uh, sunscreen. Sunscreen. I never cared about sunscreen until when you get older, you realize you're not going to live forever. And it's probably smart to make decisions like wearing sunscreen to prevent, skin cancer and shit like that. So I started wearing sunscreen a couple years ago. Probably a little too late, but better late than never, I guess. So get all my fun size, travel size things in preparation for spring trading. I leave Tuesday. So Hobby Evolution will be live again tomorrow morning. No show on Saturday because I'll be, as you see down scrolling at the screen, Kane County Fairgrounds in St. Charles, Illinois. Sunday, we'll review that card show. Monday, we'll just kind of preview spring training. I do have visitors. I'm not going to reveal who those visitors are just yet. I don't even really know the details. I will tell you there's some exciting things coming for the 1 Million Cubs project. In fact, I've got visitors on Monday, and then while I'm at spring training, I'm going to be meeting with some people as well. So some fun things on the horizon. I don't even know. I can't reveal any details because I don't know any details. I know some, but I'll let you know when I know. So we'll go live Monday, but then I'll be on a plane Tuesday morning. So I'm thinking maybe Thursday, a week from today, will be my first Hobby Evolution from spring training. So I got to remember to find, I don't know, because I'm using my computer camera. I don't know where might be behind me. I think this is my new junk drawer. I have a junk drawer. I've never really had a junk drawer because I just throw shit everywhere. So the whole space is a junk drawer. But I've been kind of using that as a junk. Like, where's my telescopic lens? Oh, it's in the junk drawer. Where's my webcam? Oh, it's in the junk drawer. That's if like one of my friends came in and they opened my junk drawer and they're like, why do you have a telescopic lens and a webcam, zip ties, and duct tape? Okay, there's no duct tape or zip ties in there, but a telescopic lens and a webcam, what are you doing? Shut up. It's my OnlyFans. So in my junk drawer. Oh, my security camera's in there for my card show security cameras also in there. Like, man, you got some kinky shit in here. What's going on? I swear I only sell baseball cards down here. I'm not doing kinky videos on OnlyFans. So that's what's going on. So I'll try to do a couple videos from spring training next week. First one will probably be Thursday morning. What else is going on? Organize my Beckets. And it's fun. Cooter asked, yeah, I feel it feels nice to be, because my Beckets have been, I went on like a rage buy of Beckets. And it started with a freebie pickup. Somebody on a Facebook group says, I've got 100 Beckets. Whoever picks them up can have them for free. This guy was down in Schaumburg area. And I happened to be in that area. I did a card show, I think, in Janesville, and then I drove to Crystal Lake for a Club 400 event. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm going to be next door. I'm like, hey, if they're still available tomorrow, I'm going to be in town. I'll pick them up. And they were, and I did. And these go all the way back. These were not just like, usually when people say, I've got a bunch of Beckets, and they're from like 1990 to 1993. And we've heard from Uncle Rich and Dr. Jim Becket. I don't know if Dr. Becket, but Uncle Rich, I think, gave us how many they printed back then. That's why everybody has a Becket from 1992. They printed 1 million of them. But 86, 87, there's not many out there. In fact, I rarely see, especially in the wild, Beckett's older, 86, 87, 88, 85, really rare. And they're pretty expensive if you find them on eBay. So I think my oldest is 86. I may have one or two from 85. But I have I have most of the run from, and I didn't know, and the problem I was running into why I stopped buying my Beckets. So then I found like a lot on eBay that was cheap, so I bought that. Then I was just on Facebook Marketplace, and I find this like huge Beckett collection for I think they were asking $100, and it was a few hours away. I'm like, oh, road trip, and he still had them. He's like, these have been listed on Facebook Marketplace for 6 months, and you're the first person to inquire. And so I offered 60, and he took it right away. He's like, yeah. And learning that they had been on, that was the first time I saw them. I probably would have offered less. But I got those, and that was a lot of modern, all the way up to like, I think up to 20. Were his up to 2018? I think his were up to 2018. Then I bought a lot on eBay that were more modern, like 2020 to 2023. I filled in some holes like of the mid 90s. But they've been up until yesterday. Most of my Beckett collection has been in just boxes. And I have no idea what I need, what I don't have. People are like, what Beckett's do you need? And I'm like, I know I need 1985, like the entire, maybe minus one. I think one issue from 85. Obviously I don't have the first issue. I think I might, just because I don't want to pay $100 for a Beckett. I think I'm just going to buy the reprint issue. They did a reprint in like 2001 or something. I think I'm just going to buy that because I don't need to spend $100 on an original. It's not that, as long as it has the same stuff in it, like that's all I care for. So I'm trying to do this on the cheap. So I got those magazine boxes. Basically like what your library has. I know at least my school library, Sports Illustrated's, by here or by month, or by quarter, I guess, because they're fit enough. But I learned like in recent years, like they're super thick. You can only get like half a year. So I didn't take the time they're not fully sorted. My top shelf is just a mishmash. So I'm not going to spend any more time now, but on a rainy day when I have time in the future, I'll get them completely organized. But I do recognize where I have holes, and I think my holes are like 2019, 2020, 2000, like this last year. I think I only have one or two issues from last year. And then I know I'm missing some, even like junk era ones. I think I'm missing some. I know I have some like with Cubs on the cover that are in like a Cubs box, and some others, but they're organized for the most part. It does. I don't have boxes of Beckett's lying around. So that does, it makes me feel a little more streamlined, efficient in that space. So I think the organization for the most part is done for now. My next step is getting my shipping room cleaned. It's kind of organized. I did do the table, my sorting table that I've sorted like twice in 8 months, because it's always filled with just piles of shit all the time. So I've got to get that space cleaned up. This space I cleaned up over the weekend, with the exception of box 25 behind me. We got to find him a home. So I'll be good to go. I'm trying to juggle these things in preparation for everything next week, before I leave. So that's what's going on. Let's go to the chat before we talk ethics this morning. Christian's in the house. Good morning. Shane is here. What's happening? Max can't wait for this topic. Ethics. Cardboard ethics. George, what's up? I can't be myself anymore and speak as I do in person, so I just will say. Goose morning, MFers. Okay. Peter says, nice image for today's episode. Thank you. What's up, David? Good morning. Zach and Porter in the house. Stal Dougie is here. Good morning. Morning, Terry. John Campbell's in the house. He wants to know, is Car Dealer Pro down? Won't upload, signed out, and can't sign in. Well, let's see. I'm going to sign out. Oh, man, it didn't save my password. All right, I'm just going to exit out of that screen. Let's go to cardealerpro.com. Log in. Oh, doesn't have my password saved, so maybe. Usually it's just automatically. Yeah, looks like it's not letting me sign in. So it must be down or something's going on. Charlie, what's going on? Listing and shipping and coffee? Oh my. I get to watch Charlie and Adam on replay today. I did check in and listen to just a couple minutes of last night's show, but I'll go back and watch it in its entirety today. Bill Simus, good morning. Philly Joe's in the house, good morning. Zach and Porter, what's up? He says, in honor of John Keating, I'm watching you on the squeakiest elliptical known to man in an undisclosed location. Very nice. What's up, Spam Likely? Cooter, good morning. The organization looks good. Are you enjoying the results? I am. So far, so good. I just want to be more organized. I just don't want to put the work in. Kind of like I'd like to lose 20 pounds, but I don't want to put the work into doing it. I want to be more organized. I just don't want to do the work. Good morning, Kyle. Dan, what's up? Troy's in the house. What's going on? James is here. I'll probably see James on Saturday. He says it's going to be a good one. Kane County Fairgrounds this Saturday, St. Charles, Illinois. Bill Simus, I'm debating about making the hour drive to the St. Charles show. I got the Orland Park show Sunday and the Chicago Spectacular next week. Yeah, we're hitting the stride where there's a lot of shows, and I'm getting well, do you know your April show is the same day as Green Bay and the big Minnesota show? I am aware of that. So here's the options. The Madison Card Show is April 20th, or there's no April Card Show. And we're going to be okay. Are we going to fill 175 tables? Maybe, maybe not. I know I'm losing 4 tables to Minnesota. I'm losing at least 5 tables to Green Bay, but I'll be okay. I've already filled a couple spots with new dealers for April. So probably will fill 175 tables. Maybe not quite a full sellout. We'll see. Maybe it is. But that's just, it's like, and some people that aren't like aware, like we do talk, like I understand. I knew the Minnesota Card Show was that weekend, but I also know it's not a big competition. If like, I'm not going to go head to head with it on purpose, but if I have to, that's my backup weekend. April 27th was my first choice for April. I try to get the hell was that? I try to get the 4th or final Saturday of each month for the Madison Card Show. If that weekend is taken at the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive, I have to go to the 3rd weekend. And the second, and usually my second choice works out. There has been 1 or 2 occasions where it hasn't, and I had to go to the 2nd weekend, and that's not last June. I had to do that. Not ideal. But again, it's one of those cases where it's either that or nothing. And there's still people, there's still sellers and buyers, and there's still a need for others. So we're getting into that time, and it's not the first. It won't be the last. We just have to deal with it, take it in stride. Where are we at? Zach and Porter says, right now the experts are saying that we will probably attend the April Pokemon show on John Nolan Drive. Neil's in the house. Good morning. Jody is here. What's up? Bill Simon says Madison and St. Charles, a similar size show, basically identical size, both 175, 180 tables. I think they're squeezing in 180 tables this time in St. Charles. My show's 175, so pretty identical. Harlan's in the house. Good morning. Ziggy No says ethics in the hobby. Where? The new deal. Oh, we just talked about that earlier. Cooter says June's oversold bookings begin. Well, and that's it's ironic you say that, Cooter, because I have not signed a contract for the 3rd ballroom in June because I expect the summer months to be slower for both buyers and sellers. So I only booked the third room for February, March, April, and May. So it's one of those where it's still open for bookings, and usually that room does get booked in the summer for, usually it's like bridal showers, baby showers, and bridal showers. So we very well could be in that situation. We'll see. Zach and Porter says, I ironically rely on Tony from Oak Creek on When Your Show and Racine because he keeps his website updated. I know. My website, MadisonCardShow.com, is not always updated. Brian says, good morning. Ethics, what's that, right? Brian Wolf, good morning. Cooter says, Keating went MIA when he tried to list on the Becket show calendar. I hope he is safe. I hope that's not a sign of things to come for me, this damn Becket card show calendar. Chris, what's up? I believe you said you're sorting Cubs by name. That is correct. Then recently said something about putting team sets in binders. That is also correct. Are you pulling those as you go or waiting until the end? So basically right now I'm sorting only by name. I have thought, especially when it comes to vintage, like 88 tops, 89 tops, 2021 tops, I'm not worried about, having to go dig those out for team sets. When it comes to like 1952 tops, I think I'm going to, when I come across those boxes, put together like a vintage box. And for Cooter's sanity, I'll say 1952 to 1979 for vintage. And I'll put those in a vintage box because I don't have, 2022 tops. I probably have 500 copies, maybe not quite that many, but probably well over 100 copies of each card. 1952 tops, probably 1 to 5 copies. I know there's a few cards of 52 tops that I have multiples of. But for the most part, back in the 50s, once you get to like 58, 59, I have multiples of most of them, with the exception of the high numbers. But for now, I think like especially with modern, it's going to be just, I'm going to sort by name. That's what I've been doing. When I come across the vintage stuff, I'll put that aside in a separate box. And then I can sort, the team set and find my duplicates easier than if they're in one of 17 boxes with the letter A. Zach says, Keating was living in hell this week. He had a court order assignment doing the audio visuals for Garvey's campaign party on Election Day. He's staying there working until November with the Garv. James says, you setting up in Madison or sending your cards to Rockford? So yeah, March 30th is also the same day as the Rockford card show. So, and I do, I'm trying to think of who, and we knew this was going to happen. That Mike and John, who run those shows, we know we're going to bump into each other at some point. I was able to avoid June because they have a June show, I think, in DuPage County, a new show in Wheaton, which is the last weekend in June. But I was able to get June 22nd. So we were able to avoid going head to head on that, which if we went head to head, like that's less of a concern in Wheaton. I don't like going head to head with them just because we do each other's shows. And I actually don't even know if I'll do that show in Wheaton. It just kind of depends what June brings, what the summer brings. So let's see, I'm trying to think. So there are some regular dealers that will be Gary's only like Gary's a vintage guy. He's only a semi-regular. He does about 6 out of the 12 shows in Madison. And he lives in Rockford, so he's doing the Rockford show. Obviously the Rockford guys are doing Rockford. The Sechrist are splitting up. So John's going to be in Rockford, and then his son is going to be in Madison. Tom is doing Rockford. Tom is mainly vintage, and he lives like in Crystal Lake. And then there's one, John Boomer is going to do the Rockford show, and he lives closer to Rockford also. So basically it comes down to convenience on where people live. So I think those are the only BCW Paul's doing Madison, 5 Stars doing Madison. Yeah, so I do lose a few regulars, but they're oversold in Rockford. I'm at sellout for Madison, so there's plenty of room to go around. Orlando, what's going on? Good morning. Mikey's in the house. I'm here live. I've been working early at 8 a.m. lately. Oh, that's where you've been. I've been wondering. You haven't been checking in. Philly Joe, what's going on? Do they charge to get your show listed on Becket? No, they do not. I think there's a charge if you want like an ad in the magazine. But as far as just putting it on the website, no charge. Johnny Boy Cards, what's going on? Good morning. Hey, my birds are back, but they're not. What did I have last year? Maybe those are the same birds. Yeah, there's a bird. The bird nest, I thought last year, I thought about knocking the bird nest down, but I'm like, yeah, you know what? What if I keep it there? Because I enjoy watching the birds. I am really an 80-year-old lady at heart. I like looking out the window, watching the animals and the birds. And so there's a bird in the nest right now. And I'm like, if I knock the nest down, what if they don't come back? And they came back. So I'm happy for that. Max, get it in writing. Some of used to have wrenches and that went away. Nothing is guaranteed unless Jim Cramer says. There's a lot of birds. It's like 3, 4, whole bunch of birds. Tiger727 came into the show late, so maybe this was already mentioned. I found out a couple weeks ago that TCDB has a list of card shows. Interesting. Since we're there, let's TCDB. Where would you find the list of card shows? See, I only list, sometimes I'll throw some. I did earmuffs, Zach. I found some more Dylan Cease cards that I uploaded into trading card database. I think I'm number 4 on the Dylan Cease collecting. I have 87. I am number 4. I just passed Shy Sox 1 fan for life. I am behind the Hawk, Cubs, and STL sets. He's the number 1 Dylan Cease collector on Trading Card Database with 130. I think he's pretty high up on the Cubs team rankings. But I'm gonna crush him. We're gonna crush him. I have 513 total Dylan Cease cards logged. There's a lot of duplicates. Like most of those are his first Bowman paper cards. Where are we at? Max says I would just flip tables if I didn't. Not kidding either. Here's our Bitcoin update. It's gone up. So Low Roller Scratcher comments. Good insurance policy. Paul Carl's in the house. Good morning. Flawed Thinker is here. What's up? Mikey says my least favorite class in college was ethics. Shane says now everyone wants to get in on hockey. Yep. See, there we are. We're hockey collectors now. Low Roller says I'm going to list more hockey. We'll see. Good morning, Johnny M. Ziggy No says Connor Mania. Walmart had retail series 2 last night. Ooh. Dan says, please give the Juicy Honey dealer my contact info. Are you talking about John? Gruber has some Juicy Honey cards, and he's always like, check these out. Look at her. Jonathan, what's up? Good morning. Victor's in the house. Good morning. Paul says someone has to clip that. Uh-oh. I don't know what that was about. Straight Execution, what's going on? The last time I bought hockey. Jaromir Jagr. Speaking about Straight Execution, I don't remember seeing you in the chat since like last March, which reminds me we're going to have to do another bracket challenge, Hobby Evolution bracket challenge. Now we have Facebook too. So we can do bragging rights in Facebook as well. So we'll do a bracket challenge. Max says, "Are we talking about the shop that completely bent their customer over and showed them the 50 states?" Probably what we're going to talk about. And I have my thoughts on that. The last time I bought hockey, Jaromir Jagr was a rookie. That was like 40 years, okay, 30 years ago. Hobby ethics is an oxymoron. Bedard went from 1,200 to 700 in 6 hours. Yeah. What are the most recent sale? Which reminds me, I want to keep this screen up. Oh, you know what? Actually, if I do, this might give me better results. Okay. That doesn't seem. Oh, those are non-autos. Okay, just ignore me talking to myself. I want to find. We're gonna go on. I don't use Terapeak very often on eBay, but I bought something last night that I'll talk about. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. What's the Connor Bedard? What's the card number? That'll be easier. Oh shit. I bet if we do Young Guns. Jesus. So many you've really got to drill it down to get your search correct because this is like so many breaks. Card 51. Okay. Now, let's see if this works. Okay. Oh, looks like our recent. Oh, wait, we got to go. Let's see. Last sold. Last sold. Oh, last sold. Here we go. That's looks like 885 was the most recent. There hasn't been. It looks like they're steady. Looks like all the Connor Bedard prices are between 700 and 900. Looks like maybe the first one sold for 1,000. And that's according to eBay Terapeak, at least on the base. So they've been holding steady between 700 and 900. George says, I pulled 3 of those Laffy Taffy Young Guns in E-Pack in like 3 boxes and sold them on ComC for like 50 each. Holy. People tell me like there's the Upper Deck E-Pack thing is when combined with ComC is good, but I don't want to deal with hockey. I don't want to deal with ComC, and I don't want to deal with E-Pack. I'm just going to let you guys deal with it. Old card sellers don't die. They just get moved to the dime box. Mikey says, does your wife know about your OnlyFans? She'd be like, yeah, right. Brian, good morning. C&M Collectibles. Anyone else having an issue with CDP? Yes. Somebody mentioned it earlier. I checked mine and I am unable to log in either. John Campbell, same. Mr. Archer, good morning. By the way, your 1 million Cubs card in the mail. Shane, Connor, Young Gun exclusive of 100 is at $5K on auction right now with 6 days left. Orlando says the shipping costs on those Becket magazines would have been huge. Great deal since you picked them up. Yes. Yeah. The 100 Beckets, that was in like 2 super heavy boxes. And then the boxes I picked up, there was probably 200 Beckets, and a lot of them modern. So they're like thick. They're not like the 1992 Beckets where they're this. They're like the freaking 2018s that are phone book size. Carrie Jacobs, what's up? There are no numbered Bedards in Upper Deck retail. Brian says CDP is screwy right now. Won't upload cards, and now everything is gone. No account info badges, nada. So must be a huge glitch on their end. Unicorn Cupcake, thanks to Bo's Becket collecting venture, I've been inspired to collect a full run of Who's Who in Baseball. Those are pretty cool. Thanks, I think, right? What rabbit hole did you just dive down? Mikey says you only have one hole, not two. Christian says someone has to have a Becket #1 to give Bo. Come on. No, it's like $100 issue. I don't need the authentic. There's a perfectly good replica out there that I can get for like $10. C&M Collectibles. Glad it's not just me. Can't even log in. Yeah, that's the issue that I ran into. Zach says, I predict one of your dealers has one. Exchange it for table credit. Unicorn Cupcake says, I have a couple reprint #1s, but not quite the same. I feel it's the same. Like, yeah, it's not the same, but do I want to spend $100 for a magazine? No, because I did the same thing during COVID. Like, I needed a hobby from my hobby during COVID. And so I was during one of my breaks, we're going to talk about ethics and eventually. During one of my hobby breaks in my youth, I really got into pro wrestling and WWF and WCW. And this would have been 1995 to 98. Then I got back into baseball cards. And I was collecting and I was like, I freaking had an awesome magazine collection. And I like gave them all away. It's like, damn. Especially those WWF magazines. But they were kind of like beat, I was like, they were just thrown around all over the place. I think I even cut out, like when I was a kid, I would put like scrapbooks together. Like I am an 80-year-old lady putting scrapbooks together as I watch the birds. So I collected wrestling magazines. So during COVID, it's like, I need a hobby from baseball cards. And, so I started collecting the run of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and I still have a bunch, but I've got a bunch listed on eBay. They don't sell. But it was one of those like, oh, this was fun. And then I read through some and it's like, okay, this isn't fun anymore. Why I'm talking about that is because issue #1 from 1979 is like $100 to $150. It's basically the same cost as a first issue of Becket. It's like $100 to $150 because there's only like at any given time, there's like 2 or 3 on eBay. And they do sell. Like, I think one actually went when I was collecting these Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazines, one went to auction and I think it ended up selling for like $70 or $80. And I'm like, damn, I should have bought it. But at the same time, it's like, do I want to spend $80 on a magazine? Jonathan says, spring training time is the best time to get rid of commons. I sort them into team lots of about 300 to 400, throw in a few inserts and dollar rookies, and list at $40. Optimistic fans equals money. Hey, I like that strategy. Cooter says Sports Illustrated is gone. I wonder how long Beckett's print version survives. I'm surprised it's still surviving. I'm surprised it's still in existence. Kyle says, so my Becket run, I may not have to go out and buy new ones. Kyle says, I'm pretty sure I have the Becket first issue. The problem is finding it amongst all the totes of childhood bedroom stuff. Brian says, is cardboard ethics like the business ethics from Billy Madison? Yes, probably. Sports card ripping teacher, good morning. Good morning, Stuke. Dan thinks George has had a few too many, is it Juju ales? Charlie says, Cardi the Pro has something going on. I am logged in, but everything fails to upload. Let's just get down to it. I can't stress enough about using Discord for Car Dealer Pro because you will get these answers. You won't have to come to YouTube to find out what's going on. Servers. If I can figure out how to use. Okay, here we are. What's today's date? March 7th. March 7th. Yesterday. Wow. Nobody's commented in the Discord about it. So maybe it's just, is it fairly this morning thing? See if there's any announcements. Nothing today. Introduction. Support tickets. Today. Oh, there are a couple support tickets. Let's see. There are a couple. Oh, Nick commented. So it looks like there are a couple support tickets open about Car Dealer Pro. Let's see. That's an old one. I'm surprised there's nothing in the general chat about it, though. Okay. So, yeah, something's going on. Zach and Porter says, Vincent Vega, that Eloy trade may be tilting in our direction. He's had a good spring, needs to stay healthy. Brian says, guess what I'm doing? It starts with an S, and it isn't a stack sale. Shipping. Love it. Shipping means you did make sales. Sold a few cards overnight on eBay, took a $10 offer on an $18 card. I didn't have energy for the back and forth. So I did want to bring this up. I did want to bring up I hate negotiations. I've talked about this before. I hate negotiations. I was watching Chasing Cardboard yesterday, and good episode as always. And they bought a small shop in Bardstown, Kentucky, and like they got to the negotiation, and it's like Ty thought it was going to be. Ty wanted to get it for I don't what was the final 20,000 or 25,000, and the guy initially wanted 60,000, but then he's like, yeah, and he realized that was pie in the sky number, so I think he wanted to be like mid 30s. Ty's like 25. The guy's like, well, 35, and then they're like, I was hoping you'd do this, and then I'd do this, and then you do that, and then we'd settle on. I'm like, oh my god. Like, why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we burn energy in brain cells thinking about what the other guy's going to do? Well, I know we're trying to nickel and dime each other, and it sucks. I hate negotiation. Like, I don't negotiate. Like, when I look at a bulk deal, it's like, okay, this is a price I have in mind. Somebody says, last deal I did with Mike, outside in the parking lot at the Madison Card Show a few weeks ago. I'm looking through it. I want Mike to give me a price. The seller's always got to give me a price. Otherwise, I'm just going to say, I'll just walk away. If a seller doesn't give me a price, I'll just walk away. I don't need it. So Mike gives me a price. He's like 1,500. And that was too high. Like, that was not in my range. 1,000 was in the top of my range. And so what I could have done 800, and then Mike would have been, how about 1,000? And I could have 900, and I could have saved $100 maybe not. But $1,000 was fair to me, was fair to Mike. We don't have to dicker over price. Like, I hate negotiating. Like, oh my God. Well, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? What's he going to do? It's like, here's the price I'm willing to pay. I know what it's worth. I don't need to dicker over $100. Here's what it is. Here's what I'm willing to pay. Well, what if he says this, and then I say this, and then fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck negotiating. I hate negotiating. Here's my price. Take it or leave it. And I had another parking lot deal at a show a year or two ago, and the guy's like, it's like $3,000 or $4,000, and I'm like, it's not. It's not $3,000 or $4,000. And again, $1,000 was kind of like my high end and my high end of the range. And he's like, it's you could sell this for $3,000 or $4,000, but he's like, how about 2,000? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, I'm at 1,000. And he's like, 1,500. He's like, I'm pretty firm at 1,500. I'm like, no, I'm at 1,000. That's my price. And he thinks about it, and I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it. So I'm like, and he goes 1,200. And I'm like, my price is 1,000. Like, my price is 1,000. And I would have walked away. If he would have been firm at 1,200, I would have walked away. Like, 1,200 was not in my range. Like, my price is 1,000. And then all right, deal. We did the deal. Like, this is my price. It's fair to both of us. I don't need to negotiate. I don't want to do this game. I don't want to win some penis measuring contest. Oh, I got this guy for $100 less than he wanted. I win. I don't need to win any negotiating battles. George says DNA. Let's see. Where are we at? Max says, who's doing Minnesota? Jeremy Sheckelman. And then Paul and the guys that are set up downstairs. Paul, Aiden, and another dealer that they like kind of go into. They just are buddies. So they want to be in that same row. So those are the four that I'm losing to Minnesota. I don't think I got to check with the Minster brothers because they live in Minnesota and they come down to do the Madison show all the time. So I got to check with them to see if they're doing Minnesota, but they're going to be set up this month. So I'll just talk to them then. But as far as I know, just those four tables downstairs, Sheckelman and Paul and those guys. I'm trying to think if there's any other. I'll have to check with Badger Breaks to see, because I would imagine Badger Breaks might be doing the Minnesota show. So I'll have to check with Matt on the Madison show. Sports card ripping teacher. Yes, he does. Wes to stay healthy and no hurt Lubob either. Zach says, unsolicited feedback to Brian. As I live in the underbelly world of stack sales, I'd recommend doing your posts as different tweets and not a thread. See, I do not live in the underbelly world of stack sales, so I'm not familiar with how those would work best. George says, I'm downing wine like a freaking champ tonight. About to pass out, though. Beer was filling me up, so I switched to wine. George is on a bender. Dan says, aren't you recording for a show soon, or did that already happen? That is Monday. I have visitors coming with cameras on Monday. Not really for a show, though. I don't think. Maybe. Surprise! You're on candid camera. Steel Cards, what's up? Good morning. Max says, just sucks for us vendors that do both shows, takes money out of our pockets, but nobody cares about vendors. I mean, it's but here's the thing. Here's the counter to that. If they're on the same day, like if there's no way around being on the same day, like there's no show. So like my show being on the same day as Green Bay doesn't take money out of your pocket because there's no other alternative. So there just wouldn't be like, okay, I'm not going to run on April 20th. There's just not going to be an April show. So you're not out money. Brian says, flatbed scanner app stopped working last week, still isn't up. Now you can enter slab number and it will populate the listing with pick from PSA and SGC, but they started taking picks a year or so ago. Let's see. Brian's going to try that. John says, looks like eBay app went back to the old version. God, I hope so. This new version sucks. Like there's like, and I try to be like open-minded, like, okay, is this good? Like, is this new? No, it's not. It's worse. Like there's no redeeming qualities about this updated app on eBay. It did. Oh, thank heavens. Because the new app, it just said like you have 52,000 plus listings. It's like, well, how? I want to know how many. I don't care. I don't want approximates. I want exact. And then under tasks, I didn't have any tasks, but I do have tasks. Thank God. Yes. My eBay app also went to the old version. Please, eBay, keep the old version of the app, even though it still sucks. It doesn't suck as much as the new version. Tracy, good morning. Able to pop in for a few minutes. Missing my routine from first semester where I could listen every day. We miss you. Unicorn Cupcake says, I hope we did not lose John Keating to the temptations of Kensington Street in Philly. Cooter says, feel free to add 1980 to the vintage box as it was still only tops. I think I have an overabundance of 19, really starting in like really the 70s. I have like 70s coming out of my ears for Cubs. So I could probably just keep the vintage box to 50s and 60s because 70s, maybe 70 and 70. I still have a lot of 70 and 71. But especially the mid 70s, I've just got mid to late 70s. I've just got a buttload. Charles Gotcha, what's up? Good morning. Brian says, is your show listed on Sports Card Radio? They claim to have a lot of traffic. I don't think so. They do. Actually, their website does get a lot of traffic. Andy Mack says, I was just able to sign on to Car Dealer Pro. Let's see. Unicorn Cupcake says it has been listed there. I know it has been in the past, but now that I only can do 3 months at a time, book my venue 3 months out, I don't know who's I should probably, as a promoter, be more on top of that, right? Shane says, now we know why Bo is working 12-hour days. He keeps watching birds instead of shipping and listing. I know. And they're very active this morning. This must be the bird witching hour. Tiger 727. Typically birds don't use the same bird's nest. However, I had robins reused a nest for a year or two. So I'm thinking these are new. I think this is like a different kind of, I don't know what, were they I think they were robins. These are not robins. These are different. So these are squatters. These are not robins. These are I think it's remember a few months ago, and I think Kyle mentioned when I explained what type of bird they were, what they look like, he said what they are. When I Googled it, I'm like, I think you're right. Yeah, they've got like a red neck. A red neck. They're redneck birds. It's like, hey, what's up, buddy? So they're squatting. Orlando says bird watching is relaxing. It is. I enjoy it. If I remember right, I scrolled to the bottom of the main page, and there is a card show option to click on. Must be on Trading Card Database. Am I still? I don't think I'm still on the page. Volume accumulation. I'm getting an upload failed message as well. Sports Card Radio, always informing people to let them know about upcoming shows. Max says, of course, everyone wants in on hockey. Almost everyone is a sheep now. If it wasn't apparent with the Magic Lord of the Rings release, I don't know what is. I don't know Lord of the Rings or Magic, so I have no idea what that's in reference to. Dan says, no ideas what the JH guy's name is. Oh, Juicy Honey. Just let him know I have some for sale. Maybe make a deal. I will. LOL Gruber has for sure shown me his girly cards. Yes. Check this one out. Flawed Thinker says on Whatnot, you can buy something from someone's store and gift it to a random person in that live. I was gifted a 23 Bowman Mega last night. Do I rip or sell for 35 to 40? Okay. The answer is always rip, unless it's your own box. And when you ask other people, they should always say, rip it. The answer is always rip. Always. Unicorn Cupcake. Karma. Karma says you must rip. Max says put it away for a couple of years. You are welcome. Christian says TCDB. Everything Becket is not, right? Flawed Thinker says only problem is sometimes when it's late at night on a weekend and I get bored but can't go to sleep, I end up opening boxes. I've wasted so much money because of boredom. Neil says, did you see Caitlin Clark signs exclusive partnership with Panini? I did see that. Tracy says, what's your eBay store name? Let's see. Or your Twitter handle so I can check out your stack sale. There you go. Brian says, reminds me of the little puppy who could. I find it hard to believe Becket is still in business. Nothing but crickets from them. Are they producing anything? Porter, good morning. Not funny, says my eBay app format changes every other day. Negotiation is probably my favorite part of shows, my least favorite part of sales in general. Also, there was a Pokemon dealer in the Chicago area that got caught screwing a friend on a $4,000 card if we want to go and do ethics. Yeah, let's go. Let's go there. Unicorn Cupcake says, online, I lowball, in person, I can't. I'm kind of the same way. I certainly offer lowball. But if it's somebody I know, I'm obviously not going to lowball. Sometimes I do. Lowballing is, There was a great if you're not a member of the Hobby Evolution on Facebook group, check it out. Facebook, search Hobby Evolution, get you added. Somebody had posted about like a 600 count box of like junk wax commons. It's like, don't even waste your time. And like the seller was offended by the offer. I think what was the offer? $5. And it's like, I think Uncle Rich said that's $4 too much. And it's like, that's $5 too much. Just pass on that. So low ball is subjective. Like here we are saying, oh, that's too much. And the seller feels he got low ball. So it's really subjective. So sometimes it's like, if somebody brings me something up, like I was at a card show, I think it was in Rockford. James was at my table and some guy's like, I've got a whole, you buy? I'm like, yeah, I got a whole bunch of stuff. I'm like, well, what do you got? And it's junk. And I'm like, yeah, stuff like that. I'm probably going to pay I'm probably going to pass, but I'd pay fractions of a penny per card. He's like, oh, what about sealed wax? I'm like, well, it depends on what you have. He's like, oh, like 90 tops, 91 fleer. I'm like, I'd be at like, I'm like, depending on the amount, like at most $5. He's like, oh, I'll keep it in my closet for that. I'm like, that's probably a good option. Do you have grandkids? Give them to your grandkids because that's a better option, because I'm probably offering you more than anybody else in this room. Nobody else in this room is going to offer you more than $5 for a box of 91 Fleer. Unopened box. Cooter says, the best is when someone is lowballing you on a card and someone else buys it in the interim at full price. I love that. That actually happened just last night. I was laying in bed and it was on a Spencer Jones card. I had listed for $3.50 and I had an offer of $2 and I countered at $3, which is my price. I wasn't like can go back and forth. Like that's $3. That's the best I'm going to do. Anyway, last night I'm laying in bed, open my eBay app and it's like, oh, offer declined. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then and then it's like sold full price. I'm like, oh, sweet. There you go. Offbeat All-Stars on Twitter and probably eBay too. I think the worst case, a card deal should not go back and forth more than twice. Seller has a price, you counter, then they counter, and you counter one last time. That's it. Johnny M hates hockey cards. Never bought one. Don't like when they're included in bulk buys, but will list them. I don't usually list them. I don't ship internationally, so they don't sell well for me. Yeah, I have, gosh, I bet I have 10 hockey cards in my eBay store. If I think I have maybe at most 20 hockey cards in my store. I don't want to waste the time on it. I'll put it in quarter. I put like a whole stack of vintage hockey in a quarter box. And man, somebody came in and bought like every single one. I probably gave them to him for like 15 cents. And it's like, I probably could have got like $2-3 on eBay for these, but I don't want to put them on eBay. Max says, love that. Cooter has happened to be as a dealer 2 or 3 times this year. Jonathan says, reselling for almost 2 years now, finally approaching 600 listings. I'm scaling up in quantity and mainly quality. Sales are good. That's the way to go. Quality and quantity. That's the ticket. Do you or anyone in the chat know if you can run a thermal printer from your phone without having Wi-Fi or internet service? I don't know. I am not that tech advanced to know the answer. Max says it takes me down from 4 shows to 2. Yes, I'm out half. Is it ethical not to get to the subject? We're getting there. It's going to take a while. We're getting there. We're getting close. We're only 7 minutes behind. After the year the Broncos just had, I was getting excited for this year. Now we released Wilson and just now Justin Simmons. Rumors Judy and Sutton getting traded. So we will be the new Panthers next year. How exciting. Squatters. Bird watching is underrated, says Troy. People chasing the $1 million ring. I don't know what that is. For next Valentine's Day, you should get your wife the Star Wars error card as a joke. She would serve me with divorce papers. are you doing? If you always rip, does that mean you always rip the rip cards to see what's inside? Always rip. Now, again, the answer is always rip if it's not your own. If you ask me what should I do, I'm going to always say rip because it's not mine. Should I buy this? Yes, because it's not my money. It's easy to spend your money. The answer is always rip. If you show me a rip card, I'm going to say yes, rip it. Rip it. The answer is always rip. If it's my card, the answer is not always rip. If it's my card. My buddy likes to lowball offer on eBay as well, then gets annoyed when people send him lowball offers. Yeah, he can't take his own medicine. Dan's off to bed. Have a good night. Shane says, I sell lots of hockey and I have the international eBay shipping program thing, and I've only sold maybe 5 with it. All other sales are within the U.S. I think because the eBay global shipping is because it's so expensive for international buyers. If you opened, if you did not use that program, you would probably see a significant uptick in international sales. Although I don't know what you're talking. I guess I think they did change. Like I'm thinking global shipping program. That's super expensive. I think they rolled out something new. Maybe that's what you're talking about. But I know with like global shipping, I get messages all the time. Hey, will you send this? Whatever. It's like, just go through global. I know it costs me sales. I don't care. I don't want to deal with the hassle. Kyle says, lowball offers are how I buy most of my NASCAR cards. I think sellers get sick of seeing them in their store for 3 years and so get shocked by me actually sending an offer. Probably. Let's see. Dan says, when you change a card in inspector mode on Card Dealer Pro, how many seconds does it usually take for your listing to load up the new card? Like 2 seconds. It's not instant. I'd say 2 seconds. 1,000, 2, 1,000. 2 seconds. Flawed Thinker says, people need to understand that unless you buy a card from someone in person, that every online sale is captured somewhere. So if someone accepts your low offer, then you're only bringing the market down. And we're going to talk about ethics soon. If the thermal printer can run on Bluetooth, you might be able to print without Wi-Fi. Having Wi-Fi would be a lot easier. Unicorn Cupcake says national table price is not too bad. I think $1,300 for 12 foot, but I assume that is for all 3-4 days. Anyone know? Yes, but there's a significant long waiting list. So yes, the prices aren't bad, but there's like 1,000 people on the waiting list. So it's not that easy. You have to submit the application and then you're put on a waiting list, and especially for like Cleveland has been sold out forever. It's smaller footprint than Chicago, and yeah, you have to be there the entire time. I think you even, like, they say they punish you if you leave on Sunday. And I think it kind of goes by, if you're a first time dealer and you leave on Sunday, you're probably not going to be accepted back in. I don't know how that works. Where's Uncle Rich at? He knows the ins and outs of that. That's good to know. Mine takes about 1 minute. Holy shit. No, it should not take that long. Definitely time to upgrade from the budget-based internet. Oh, absolutely. Yep, that's an internet thing. Yeah, it takes 2 seconds at most, maybe 2.5. Certainly not a minute. That's crazy. That's wild. Let's talk ethics. So there was, and I think this may have been a troll post on Facebook, and then I found it on Twitter. But I actually did find the Facebook post later, and I'm trying to log in, but I can't seem to log in from this computer. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, it's up. So sports card nonsense. This guy posted, Michael, pulled this on the second pack in the box I bought. The LCS offered me another hobby box for it. Winner. Took that deal. Unfortunately, didn't pull another. Well, duh. Then LCS listed it for $1,000. Did I get hosed on that deal? Feeling like it was nonsense to accept a low offer on the spot. Okay, so is the LCS wrong? Is the LCS wrong? I would say no. Now, if Michael's a little kid, I would say yes. The LCS is in the wrong. It's kind of like this. What were we just talking about? Low ball offers. And many of you, myself included, we've sent a low ball, like, well, let's see if it sticks. I'll offer you this. Will you take it? You're a grown-ass adult spending $300 on a hobby box. Thank you, Unicorn Cupcake. Nailed it. Hey, I'll give you another hobby box for this. And we don't know. We weren't there. We don't know how this all played out. We don't know how this all played out. But the card shop owner could have said it in jest, like, okay, there's no way this guy, he just spent $300 on this hobby box. There's no way he'll do this deal. But it's that gambling mentality that sometimes takes over. Ooh, I can get another hobby box. What if there's another Bedard in there? There's probably not going to be. There wasn't. So is the card shop owner wrong? I say no. He extended the offer to a grown-ass adult who already spent $300 on the hobby box to begin with. You would assume, we know what assuming does, though. You would assume the customer who spent the $300 on the Upper Deck box had some idea what this is worth, right? Now, I honestly think this is a troll post. And when I went through and read the comments last night, the original poster was like making comments that made it seem like, okay, he's messing with us all. And hey, he goes on Twitter. People are talking about it. Putting myself in that position, if I was the card shop owner, would I do that? No, because I don't know if it's unethical. Depending on the circumstances, is it unethical to do that to a 10-year-old? Absolutely. Is it unethical to do that to somebody who doesn't know that card's worth significantly more than a $300 box? That would be unethical. Is it unethical if it's a guy that knows and he's a gambler? I say no, it's not unethical. So I think there's different ways to kind of parse this out. And it seems like this was a troll post, and I don't even know. Maybe this didn't even happen. But also, just as important, and I think we gloss over the customer in this story, especially in these Twitter comments that I read, we gloss over responsibility. People are not taking responsibility. When you spend $300, and I don't care if that's a lot of money or that's nothing to you, when you spend your money, you need to take responsibility with your money and the actions with what you do with that money, like making a trade that's stupid, like trading a $700 to $900 card for a $300 hobby box. I like J2 Detroit. Sports card nonsense Facebook has turned into the Onion. And I really do think, but this is a good, and like my first instance, especially reading the comments, was like, okay, this guy's just trolling. But it does bring up an interesting debate. It does bring up a really interesting debate because there certainly are instances where this happens. Now, is this card shop owner like, do I agree with him doing that? No, certainly not. But is he wrong for it? In some instances, I say no. But people, you need to take, you, myself included, we all need to take responsibility for our actions, especially when it comes to our hard-earned money. I don't care what the value is. Would you take a card that you don't know the value of and somebody says, hey, I'll give you $100 for that card and it's worth $1,000? Before you, like, if somebody, especially if somebody's like going to be, if somebody shows their hand and, oh, they're really excited about giving you $100, no strings attached. Like, maybe it's kind of like when you throw something on eBay for $1.50 and somebody sends you an offer in 30 seconds. It's like, maybe this is worth more than $1.50. I've got $3 offers on this already. Oh shit, it's a $10 card. Okay, decline, raise the price. I think a lot of people have lost touch with taking responsibility, and we want to find a scapegoat because we don't take responsibility for our own actions. Now, again, I think this post was in jest. Like somebody mentioned, it's like an onion post. Did it really happen? Probably not. Or if it did, the guy did it knowing that, or maybe the offer was 2 boxes for the card. So, but I think what's lost is, like, when you're spending it doesn't matter what you make or how much money you have. If you're putting down $300, like, you should know before you sell. Know before you sell. Let's go to the chat. See what your thoughts are. And I think Unicorn Cupcake nails it here. Dual responsibility. Absolutely. If anybody was wrong in this situation, both parties are wrong. Both parties are wrong. The LCS for attempting and successfully taking advantage of a customer, and the customer being irresponsible and taking the deal. We all have one of these. And it has an app called eBay. And it's pretty easy to look up what we call comps. Where are we at? Shane says, way hosed. That's his fault for not knowing what he pulled. And yes, the LCS is wrong. Flawed Thinker says LCS isn't wrong. They made an offer and he accepted. Absolutely. I'm assuming there was no gun to the customer's head. Take it or leave it. If you don't take it, you're dead. I'm going to shoot you in the head. I don't think I could say the G. The YouTube's weird. Like, I don't think you could say the G word on YouTube. There's like words that they flag. So I probably should watch it. But I don't think there was like one of those situations. The customer could have said what the customer should have done. Say he didn't. He honestly didn't know. Don't just blindly, don't trust anybody when it comes to your money. Don't trust anybody when it comes to your money. What the customer should have done, hold on, let me think about this. And done his due diligence. Well, hey, it's $1,000. The last one sold for $1,000. I know you've got, how about 2 hobby boxes? And probably we're going to get into a negotiation. He's like, no, that's $600 in value because the card shops are selling them $300 a pop, easy. So that's liquid. And then maybe you counter back. Okay, how about a hobby box and $200 cash or store credit? Max says, hell yeah, it's not even close. He has some responsibility though too. Absolutely. Especially when the shop is into the box for less than half of the 300. He should have been like, why would he give me another $300 box for this? Let me look it up, right? Brian says, it's a joke. He ripped something not knowing the chase card's worth. He didn't have a phone to check comps like he prob does before buying a card. Loser. Shane says, honestly, if I was at a card shop and they offered me that deal, I probably wouldn't go back. Shit is shady, hoping his customer doesn't know what he pulled. Unicorn Cupcake says, what was he looking for in the first place? Right? I don't know a damn thing about hockey. And I'm going to go out and spend my hard-earned money on Upper Deck chasing that card. I'm certainly not going to go out and buy a $300 box, but if I find a black, I don't even know what retail costs, but like, come on. Who walks in on release day? Oh, I'm going to buy that $300 box of Upper Deck hockey. Why is it $300? What was, and I don't know the hockey. Shane knows the hockey market. What was Upper Deck Series 2 last year? Or what was Upper Deck Series 1? Max says it's not ethical. You want to retain business as a shop. This isn't the way to do it. Shane says, exactly. You would have lost me if that were me. Cooter says, would the guy have been complaining if he had a bigger hit in the second box? Of course not. He would be bragging about it. He would have been like, guess what? So the shop owner offered me, and I pulled this, ha ha. And everybody's going to be like laughing at the card shop owner. Oh, he got you, man. That's what's going to happen. Max says, in my opinion, what he hit in the second box isn't close to relevant here, but we know the answer. Shane says the only bigger hit would have been another Bedard numbered. Unicorn Cupcake says, interesting point. Shane says, and then the guy would have hosed him with a 2-box deal, right? I'll give you 2 box. And the guy would have taken it. Ooh. Mark says, back to your conversation about Becket show listings. It took me at least 5 or 6 tries or more to finally get it to work. Fucking Becket. What are you doing over there? What are you doing? Max says, look at how we vote on politics as a country. Nobody is responsible anymore. Unethical? No. Bad business practice? Yes, because he could be a big repeat customer. Max says, The Walking Dead is on the throne. And we get our choice of Walking Dead in November. You pick Walking Dead A or Walking Dead B. Red or blue, you get Walking Dead. Mark says, I think what I noticed was I was not logged in when trying to list a show. Once I logged in, it worked. I'm logged in and it doesn't work. I think that is what my problem was. Try logging into Becket and try to list your show. I am logged in. It's not working. Shane says, if you wouldn't do it yourself, then it probably is wrong to do it. Amen. Charlie says, I think it's harder to look at that example because of the large dollar amounts, more emotional. Is it that different from buying a card for 10 cents and flipping for $10? That brings up a great point. Like what's ethical in bargain boxes? So this is a perfect example, and this may have been a previous ethical discussion. About 2 years ago, I was at a card show as a dealer in Rockford, and my buddy Steve had bargain boxes, and he had I think they were, and I mean he had them loaded up, and I pulled like a Danny Cannell auto, and I pulled like exactly $5 worth of cards. So what's that? 4 times 5, 20 cards. I pulled 20 cards out of his quarter box. And I thought I got a great deal because there were like a bunch of autographs. Like there were like 5 or 6 autographs. But there was a Ronald Acuna gold cup. And I'm like, well, shit, it's a gold cup. It's got to be worth a couple bucks. And I laid them out. I got back to my table. I laid these cards out, took a photo, put it on Twitter. Somebody commented. And I said, I got these for 25 cents each. Somebody commented, I think they quote tweeted, can you locate the $400 card that he bought for $25? And I'm like, Danny Cannell auto can't be worth $400. Like, I thought that was the best card in it. It's a refractor auto, man. Rookie refractor. Danny Cannell. And I got to looking closer at the cards, and I'm like, I'm going to look up this Acuna. It was Topps opening day, gold cup. Opening day? Well, opening day has super short prints, and they are super expensive. And sure enough, one had sold for like $400. Now, I sold mine. I think I got $250 out of mine, $250, and I've spent $25 on it. Paid for all 20 cards, and then some. And of course, I didn't sell it that day. Took it home, listed the cards on eBay, did a video about it. I didn't tell the dealer. And next show, Steve goes, "Hey, how about that Acuna?" And I'm like, "Yay, yeah." And people are saying it was unethical that I didn't tell the dealer. First off, I didn't know. Like when I pulled it out, I had no idea. I thought it was a $3 card. I didn't know it was a super short print. I didn't know it was a super short print until it was pointed out to me after I tweeted the picture. Yeah, I was still at the show. Should I have went back to his table and said, "Hey, this card is worth a couple $100?" But as a seller, and here's why I didn't do that. Because as a seller, I'm not going to accept the card back from if somebody finds a super short print out of one of my boxes for a quarter and brings it back to me and says, "Hey, I want to let you know this is a $200 card." And I'm like, "Thank you. Congratulations." Like, I'm not going to take it back and list it on eBay. Like that's dumb. So I don't care if somebody finds a $200 short print, gets it for a quarter and doesn't tell me. And if they do tell me, I'm going to say congratulations. I actually do want you to tell me because I want, and then I'll be like, because it's a good story and I can share it with people digging through my boxes. Well, you know what? There was a time a guy came up and said he found a $200 short print out of this box. But then it comes down to, well, if you do feel it's unethical to not say something to the dealer, what's the dollar amount? Okay, if it's in a quarter box for $200, do you have a dollar amount? And this is all subjective. Somebody may say, "Yes, I have a dollar amount. It's $50. It's $100. It's $200. It's $10." But what is that point? Like, if I find a $10 card in a quarter box, I'm not going to think twice about not telling. Like, I'm going to be like, "Oh, sweet. I got this, and this." Like, if you're again, the sellers need to take responsibility. I take responsibility when I sell. And if something slips in that shouldn't be in there, oops, I need to do better. Kind of like at the show last month when I was told these cards are 25 cents each. And then I pull out 6 of them and they're like $20. And I'm like, whoa. You told me 25 cents. Well, I didn't pull these out. Okay, well, I'm not going to do $20. Well, how about 15? Okay, I'll do 15. I'm not trying to take advantage, but I am trying to find deals. I am trying to turn 25 cents into $10. And a lot of sellers, they don't care. Like a $10 card is low end. $20 card is low end. Like I'll sell it for a quarter, $1. I've got thousands of them. So it's just, a unique. Now, I'm not looking to take advantage of people either when I'm digging through bargain boxes. But it's like what, and I think everybody has a different pain point for that. Cooter says, "My point is he gambled, he lost. If he is opening a $300 box, I assume he is not ignorant to what the market might be. Amen. He is responsible to understand what value he is giving up. He is an adult. And when we are separating ourselves from our money, don't be stupid. What's the guy on YouTube? Don't be stupid." And I feel like there's a lot of stupidity in the hobby. Bargain Boxer says, "What should the card shop owner have done? Offered 2 boxes and then everything would have been good?" ? And again, what's fair? Okay, if 30% of in $1,000 isn't really the market. Okay. What's your net on $1,000 sale on eBay? It's going to be without any promotion, say 15%. It's probably going to be less than that, 13%. So you're looking at let's just call it $875. I know Max said what the second box, but also Max, it doesn't take into account like what the shop paid for it. Like that's not the market. What shops pay for their product isn't the market. It's what the liquidity is and the market price, 300. So we got to use that number. So 300, 875. Is that really that low of a low ball offer? I mean, that's kind of what we expect from a card shop anyway, I think. Maybe it's slightly less than expected. I'm on Terapeak right now with Connor Bedard's sales, and there is not a single $1,000 sale that I can see on eBay. Oh, there is one $9.99. There's a couple 900. Some of the early ones were 900. Looks like one of the first ones was 1,000. So there's a couple $1,000 sales, but the market is 800. So take that into consideration. Because here's the thing: is the card shop, how liquid is that card going to be at a card shop? Yeah, sure. Maybe he can avoid eBay fees. He sells it outright in his shop for $900. So I guess we need to take that. Yeah. What would a good offer have been? I think, 2 boxes, that's $600. That's liquid. That's $600. That's easy. That's cash. That's $600 for a card that's dropping fast. Like, I don't think 2 boxes is a fair deal for a card shop owner. I think 1 box, my opinion, I think we all can share our own opinions, but from a business standpoint, from a card shop owner who has brick and mortar, who can't offer 80% comps, especially on something liquid like this, 2 hobby boxes of Upper Deck is too high of a price for him. 1 may be a little low, but 1 and maybe cash. Like, okay, or actually be credit. I'll give you a hobby box and $100 store credit. I think that would have been fair. Bargain Boxer says, would the guy have posted on X if he hit 1 in the free box? Of course he would. Of course he would. And it would have been like, yeah. Shane says to Cooter, yes, it is his responsibility to know what he is going for. But at the same time, I feel the owner was offering a bad deal in hopes the guy didn't exactly what it was going to be worth. Unicorn Cupcake says, if a train was driving and going to hit Connor, but you could divert the train and it would hit 2 nameless Chicago Blackhawks, what should you do? That's an interesting thought. What would I do? LCS isn't, I don't want to hit anybody. LCS isn't wrong. The LCS tripled his money. What's wrong with that? Ain't like he offered a pack of sleeves. That's a good point. He came in with $300, got a hobby box, and left with 2 hobby boxes, minus 1 card. 30% isn't the worst. And again, we got to remember it's not even 30% because you've got your fees on top of that. And $1,000 isn't really a good comp on that card. Comps are $800 to $900. And he's got bills. What if we reverse the roles like your Acuna dollar box story? Was it unethical for you to not say something to the dealer before buying it? Yeah, and I just talked about that. Bargain Boxer, yikes. Max says 80, 100. That said, not a good look for the LCS. The red one isn't dead, though. I don't like either choice, but there's only one this go around. I found an Ohtani 1 of 1 in a dollar box. Was it unethical not to say anything or pay the buck? Would anyone do anything different? Yeah, that's a pretty good find. It depends. In some circumstances, I think every situation is different because the Acuna, at the time I bought it, I had no idea what it was worth. If I did, would I have told Steve? Because I know Steve. Would I have said something to Steve? I probably would have. I would have said, Steve, because I know him. He's set up at my show. I see him at shows all the time. Friends on Facebook, great guy. I would have been like, hey, Steve, this is a super short print. But I had no idea. But also I didn't go back and say anything either. So maybe I wouldn't have. There's been times where I'm like, hey, is this supposed to be in this box? And they're like, sometimes it depends on who the dealer is. Sometimes they're like, oh, no, that's not supposed to be in there. Sometimes they're like, yeah, it's not supposed to be in there, but I'll give it to you for that deal. And then sometimes they're like, yep, I put it there on purpose. I think every situation is different, and and we're not in that situation. We can talk about it and say, oh, I would never do such a thing. But put in the moment, we might do such a thing. Max says it's way different offering on an item that isn't priced than buying a priced item. And I agree with that. Unicorn Cupcake says, personally, when I bought it, I would ask the clerk to inform the person it was in the dollar bin. Is that right? Bargain Boxer says, and that's why you are a unicorn, because no one else would. Alan says, if this happens to me, it's 100% on me for my laziness, and great for the buyer. And I guarantee they will be back going through my value boxes. Unicorn Cupcake says 50x the selling price is my arbitrary number. Brian Wolf says dollar boxes like those mines where you get a bucket of dirt. No one goes up and gives back a diamond. They brag and the business can say this was found here. Absolutely. Some of the best marketing is when you even at times inadvertently put a high dollar card in a quarter box. This happened to me. And this was during the boom when like Prism basketball was through the roof. I had a Klay Thompson Prism rookie card in a quarter box. Now, I didn't know it was a Klay Thompson rookie because I don't know basketball that well, but also because he was a rookie in that weird year where there were 2 rookie classes and they didn't have rookie logos. So I just, it's a Klay Thompson common. I'm going to put it in the quarter box. And I had a lot of good stuff because somebody was loading. I had customers loading up their fill a box. And the next weekend was a show in Rockford. And younger guy, probably in his 20s, came up to me and he goes, hey, I don't know if you want to know this, and I've got like 3 or 4 people digging in my quarter boxes. So I absolutely want to hear your story. Yes. And he goes, I was at the Madison show last week and I pulled a Klay Thompson rookie out of your quarter box and it's a $50 card. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like I had no idea that was a $50 rookie card. But congrats to you. And so there's 3 or 4 people at my table. It's like, oh, what else could be in here? If he doesn't know, I'm like, if I were sitting at a quarter box and I overheard that conversation, guess where I'm going? Well, this dumbass doesn't know anything about basketball. I'm going to look through his basketball cards and see what else he forgot or he doesn't know what he put in there. That's great marketing. And it's inadvertent. I didn't even know. Kind of like the Acuna. I didn't know at the time until I put it on Twitter. I thought somebody was talking about my Danny Cannell auto. Like, I thought I got a pretty good deal. It's probably a $10 card. I got it for a quarter. I know Steve knew he put the Danny Cannell auto in there for a quarter. He's like, yeah, it's Danny Cannell. I don't care. And the funny thing is, Steve had the same thing happen to him, and he was on my side, and it was like a month or 2 later. It was like almost karma. He goes, hey, we laugh about that Acuna, and he goes, I had the same thing happen to me, but with a Chris Bryant, and it was a Chris Bryant super short print that sold for like $1,000, and he got it out of a quarter or $1 box. So it happens. Let's see where we at. Flawed Thinker says buyers have zero responsibility when it comes to sales. They are the ones taking all of the risk. Cooter says in today's hobby, I would say a large number of people are going through bargain boxes looking for an arbitrage opportunity. As a bargain box dealer and as a bargain box buyer myself, and I do multiple, 2-3 shows a month. When I'm either looking through boxes with others or when I'm the dealer asking customers what they're doing, 90% of my customers are looking for arbitrage opportunities. What are you looking for? Oh, and I can usually tell, I'm just nothing in particular. And I see what they're pulling. It's like, oh, okay. Because I know you can make a few bucks on that. I get a few set builders, a couple different people have, looking for this and that. But for the most part, it's all arbitrage opportunity. 100% agree with that. Max says, I'd assume most of us here are very, very, very in tune with the hobby. There are probably 70% of people walking into shops that aren't us. I agree with that. And it's probably even higher than 70%. People love to follow hype and trends. I bet it's even higher than 70%. I bet it might be 80 or 90%, not knowing, just walking in. Oh, I heard hockey's sheep. I heard everybody's buying hockey. I want to buy some hockey cards. I just think if you think the shop did nothing wrong, it's garbage. I don't care about the seller. Both are wrong. I do agree both are wrong. I don't think the shop did nothing wrong. Like, I wouldn't do it. Well, do I think he did? I mean, he made the offer. Now, would I, if I owned a shop, would I do that? No, I would not. Do I think it's wrong? Not necessarily. You know, he had every the guy on the other side, like most of us, would have been like, "Fuck you! I'm not taking that deal." And we don't know the tone of the conversation. We don't even know if it's a real, but I'm sure this does happen. I have a feeling this didn't actually happen, but we don't know that either. Bargain Boxer says, not my card shop. 95% of people who walk into my LCS know exactly what the market is. That's interesting. That is interesting. TBB, guarantee you are very wrong there. J2 Detroit, how would he know it's not like the guy's picture is on the box or anything, right? Joe says the Bedard will be $300-ish in 2 weeks. If the shop owner doesn't sell within a week, he ends up losing. Exactly. I think that's a point we're missing. Deal was fair. Everyone involved knew the risk. I bet those sales, if I refresh Terapeak, I'm sure there's new sales that are coming in like every 10 minutes. No, I wonder how, I don't know. Does Terapeak, I don't know how updated Terapeak gets. So let's just do 2023 Upper Deck Bedard 451. And here we are the next day, because release day was just yesterday. I mean, look at some of I did actually go back and lowered prices on my 2024 tops. Looks like the recent sale still is, well, I mean, one sold for 685. I think that's, 685. One sold for 900. Some best off 675. So I mean, they're already dropping below 700 in some instances. Mark says, to me, it's all moot. The card owner agreed to a price. The deal was made. Both sides agreed to a price trade. That's the end of it. I agree with you. Absolutely. Both adults, both knew should have known what they were doing. If they didn't, it's on them. Bargain Boxer says, I'll rake that bet all day long, Max. Do it all day long. Max says, so 19 out of 20 people that walk into your LCS would be able to tell you what the Bedard is selling for. He says, get the fuck out. Bargain Boxer says, all day long. There's nowhere in America where that is true. Oh, I bet there's places. I bet in Montana, in Wyoming, I bet there's places. The old hiding a $400 card in the value box trick works every time. Cooter says, I think the litmus test is, are you knowingly trying to take advantage of someone? Living ethically is what you do when you think no one is looking. There you go. Dad Dude from Duryea, we haven't heard from you in a while. Getting a higher price for a short print is the reward for investing the time into the product. It happens to everyone, or you miss one when sorting. Oh yeah. I'm sure I miss them with the amount of stuff I go through. With all the Bowman that I've been going through, I bet there's Bowman action variations or image variations from Bowman that are in my quarter boxes this Saturday, Kane County Fairgrounds, St. Charles, Illinois. That I'm just going through so many that I don't take the time to look at every card because I just don't have the time to devote to that. Tiger727 says, on a smaller scale, I picked up a 2020 PSA Arena Topps Gold rookie. Had a $3 sticker on it And I asked the seller if it was accurate, and he said it was. Hell yeah. I mean, $3 for a P. I mean, in a slab. Holy crap. Max says 100% cooter. Unicorn Cupcake says, is it ethical to give kids better deals and try to milk the geezers? Bargain Boxer with the zinger. It's called the Trade Up Challenge. Love it. If a kid told me it was a challenge, I would not trade with them. Perfect. Perhaps a good example of less is more. Let's see. Cooter says, everyone except Zach and Porter are market traders these days. Walk into a card show or even a Goodwill and try to find someone not checking comps on their phones. A lot of truth to that, too. Here's a topic I'd love to hear discussed at some point. With all the card shows existing now, have eBay comps lost any relevancy? I would say quick answer, no. Because what are people doing at card shows? Looking at eBay. Mark says, we also don't know the details. Did they negotiate to get the one box deal? Was that the first offer? Absolutely. There's so many variables that we don't know. Maybe the card shop owner was starting low and planning on negotiating. Oh, the old negotiation. Integrity. Amen, Cooter. Porter says, if you're not trying to knowingly swindle a customer, are you even a local card shop owner? I like that. So that's what we had today. Bargain Boxer says eBay comps are life. Truth. Like it or not, that's the truth. And really, if you think about it, it's like, okay, eBay, you got the fees. It's like, okay, but okay, here's 12% fees, but you're going to pay 6% tax or 5% tax. So take that off. So, and here's what you get. But we can save that for another day. We're already almost 2 hours in. Ethics. Cardboard ethics. We'll be live tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. We'll be playing Name That Player. And which I need to get organized on Name That Player because I don't have stacks of cards next to me to play with. I can't just grab a random pile of cards and be like, okay, here's what we're doing today. So I'll have to get that done. No Hobby Evolution on Saturday morning. Come see me in St. Charles, Illinois, Kane County Fairgrounds. I think the show runs 9 to 3. I will have, what did I say? About 25,000 new baseball quarter box cards. Trying to put a football box together, and I'm also trying to put together some new dollar boxes. Okay, so yesterday I thought I had 190 live viewers. So my StreamYard says I have 152 watchers right now. But YouTube says I only have 66. So I think there's a glitch in the mix because I was looking at that. I'm like, I had 190 yesterday. And then I looked back last night at my viewership numbers and I'm like, there's only 350 total views. If 190, I know I have more replay viewers. So StreamYard, you're drunk. We only have 66. So I don't think I hit a record yesterday. All righty. So hit the like button if you haven't already. I just did. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. See you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. Visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. We'll see you tomorrow morning.